undefeated. Undefeated. Who do you think that you are? When I tell y'all that I run things, y'all better believe me. Spin the earth on my finger like round ball. I'm a globetrotter. That's easy. No lie.
What up, everybody who talks boxing, comments about boxing, and makes boxing videos. So right now, I want to talk a little bit more about Deontay Wilder. Now, my understanding is that Deontay Wilder is more than likely going to be out for the rest of 2016. And, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if his hand is broken, if it's hurt, if he needs some recovery time, you know, it is what it is. You can't expect him to fight when he's less than 100%. Which, to my understanding, is what happened on Saturday. Now, that much I'll give him. I know there's a lot of people, you know, saying that they think that he's faking it. But I've seen like certain comments where people have somewhat debunked. I mean, it's all really hearsay, but somewhat debunked some of these accusations. And I'm not saying I believe it one way or another, but if he is injured, you really can't expect him to fight when he's less than 100%. So I'm not going to be hard on Deontay Wilder for taking the rest of the year off if that's what happens. I mean, they are in there throwing punches and taking punches. Injuries are going to happen. So it just comes with the territory. Now, what I will say is there's just a couple things that something occurred to me yesterday. And I don't know why it just occurred to me yesterday, but Deontay Wilder, I think he is a great fighter. And sometimes boxing fans tend to think that you hate a fighter or you don't like them just because you criticize them. And that's just simply not the case. Some of us actually value our integrity. And we try to look at things from a non-biased perspective. It's not always easy. And in some cases, it may not even be obtainable. And when I feel that I can't give an unbiased perception on something, I will either A, not make the video, or B, I will let you know that it's a biased perception that you're getting. So, that being said, I think Deontay Wilder, his days as a champion may be numbered. Now, I'm not completely putting down his level of opposition. Because I've said, you know, I think he deserves more credit for Duopas than what he got. And Spilka was a very good opponent for him. Both those fights were very... Duopas was not very exciting. It was exciting enough. And the Spilka fight, that was very exciting. You know, Spilka was actually winning rounds, and a lot of people felt he was winning the fight before he got knocked out. So, you know, that was a very good competitive fight. The Areola fight, I felt just was not competitive at all. I didn't feel that it was exciting, and that's just the way I feel about it. But I really do think that Deontay Wilder's days as a champion are numbered, and that's simply because I don't think he can take a punch. I don't think he can take a punch from somebody who is on that level of, if you just notice his level of opposition, the people that he's been fighting are not exactly the biggest punchers. Now he did fight Stavern, who does have power, and Areola somewhat has some power, I guess. But then again, Areola hasn't really shown anything for years. So, I mean, I have to agree with, I believe it was Boxing Truth, that Areola was his worst opposition as a champion. It's been his worst matchup. It's the biggest mismatch he's had since he's won the title. And I agree. Areola, I don't know him personally, but everybody seems to say he's a good, great guy, which he does appear to be. And he's fairly honest, and he's a family man. So I don't wish anything bad upon him or anything, but I do think that, he may want to consider retiring. I could be wrong about this, but his best days may be behind him when it comes to the sport of boxing. But I could be wrong. Only Chris Areola knows how much drive he has, how much he has left in the tank. So if he hears this video and he feels that he can, that he has plenty more to offer, then go for it. But I think the best days could possibly be behind Chris Areola. But I got to thinking about the Eric Molina fight, and how Eric Molina, going into the fight, I remember him saying, well, I got power too. I can hit too. I can crack too. And I remember thinking, oh man, you just don't have a chance to beat Deontay Wilder. And then when he actually stunned Deontay Wilder, that really kind of raised the question. I'm not saying that Eric Molina doesn't have any power. These guys are heavyweights. These are the biggest guys in the sport. So really, any of these guys has a good chance of knocking out just about any of the other guys. It's just, do they have the skill and the know-how? And Eric Molina may not have the most power. I don't think he does. And he was still able to stun. I think he has decent power. He just doesn't have outstanding power that he's known for. And his skill is, is decent, but not on the level of Deontay Wilder, which is why Wilder was able to get him out of there. But think about it. You got Anthony Joshua, who I think everybody can agree has more skill and more power than Eric Molina. I think AJ could possibly beat Deontay Wilder. I think he has a big chance of beating Deontay Wilder. I think that's about a 50-50 fight right there. A lot of people might say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about because he doesn't have a lot of experience. Eric Molina does not have anywhere near as much skill as Anthony Joshua, and Joshua definitely has more power than Eric Molina. If Eric Molina is able to stun Deontay Wilder, do you not think that Anthony Joshua is going to be able to catch Deontay Wilder? Anthony Joshua he has he's kind of like Triple G in a sense, where he punishes and you kind of take a beat down that just builds up over time. The thing is, I think he wears you down a lot faster than Triple G does. And I don't know, I think Anthony Joshua would have a very good chance of beating Deontay Wilder. And then you have Luis Ortiz, who also has more skill than Eric Molina. Also hits harder than Eric Molina. One time I was either in a hangout or on the hashtag Comeback to Boxing radio show with Jeff Cotto. I don't remember which one it was, but we got to talking about Luis Ortiz, and he's like a heavyweight Rigondeaux as far as how he moves and everything. For a big guy, he moves a lot and fairly quickly for his size. Now, look at the Spilka fight. Not saying that Anthony Joshua or Ortiz move like Spilka did or does, because Spilka was like a heavyweight Manny Pacquiao that night. I mean, dude was wired. He was moving like crazy. Now, Anthony Joshua and Luis Ortiz both don't move the way that Spilka does, but they do move more than Molina. They have, the ability to defend themselves better than Molina. And I mean, I know Luis Ortiz was getting hit by Thompson, but I honestly think that's just because he knew he could take Thompson's power. He was willing to take some shots just to deliver devastating blows. I think if he were to fight Deontay Wilder, he would use better defense while keeping a very good offense. So I do think that, Deontay Wilder is a great fighter, but I do think that he is avoiding some of the other heavyweights that can hit hard and have fairly good boxing ability, fairly good skill. But hey, I could be wrong. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Opposing views are welcome. So, telling my subscribers, anybody who watches my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
How you think you don't stop the movement? You ain't that important, baby. I'ma keep moving. How you think you don't stop